All right, Patreon partners, because that's what you are if you have signed up to my Patreon channel, page, whatever. We're partners now. Anyway, I've got another one for you. It's kind of long. That's because I narrate as I'm drawing, so you can call this a lesson. So let's not ramble. Let's get to the lesson. All right, so I'm going to do this female pose, and it's not going to be too much talking to it. Basically just enough, but I want to do a quick pose. Quick pose. Let me start out with my triangles first, because this is how I kind of taught myself how to do women. And then I will adjust it. Most times this works. You use two perfect triangles. You just have to move the points over for when a woman tilts her body. But as I said, this is the way I kind of started, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully the legs are long enough. And this is going to come down. So anyway, I'm not going to talk, because when I talk, I mess up a lot. I get stiff. Legs might be a little too long to start out with, but we'll go with that. Just trying to throw the basic form down right now. And as I say, I don't usually draw the head until last, but with females, I kind of draw them early so I can see how big the body needs to be compared to the head. So my center line is going to be here. She's going to be twisted. Center lines, of course, is going to be at the point and the point. Chop off right there where the delt's going to go. She's going to be leaning and have a hand on the hip. And you kind of see the basic position now. She's going to be leaning on something, just leaning on the wall or whatever. So now that I have this, and I know it pretty much fits, pretty much fits. And then I can start working on the actual shapes. Legs are definitely too big. Just want to make sure it fits. I want to get her feet in there. So that one knee is going to be in front of the other leg, and it kind of go behind. Not making it too long. And I'm going to have to slim it down. I'm so used to drawing men at a really big size that I have to work on my women being slim. All right, so now let me shape her up and slim her down a lot more. Okay, so she's leaning a little bit. Here is my, over here, so my neck should not be way over there. All right, let me put the head, let me slim it up first before I do anything else.
Extra light is needed.
it upside down so that you can see it from a different perspective. And then hold it up and look in the mirror. You should always have a mirror at your drawing table. It helps with expressions. When you draw expressions, you can look in your mirror and make the expressions yourself. Yourself. And it helps. Now at this point, I can slim her down more by slimming her rib cage a little bit, bringing it in a little bit more. Maybe moving that arm over a little. Depending on how thick you want your females. Like if you're drawing little anime girls, this might be a little too thick. But then they do have thick anime women, not too many, but that's just their style, the way they draw. I taught myself my style, so it's not easy for me to translate my style and do somebody else's. Translate to just drop my style and do somebody else's. So whenever I draw, no matter what I draw, it's going to have my style to it. It can look like the other person's picture, but it's going to still have my style to it. And I feel, because that's how I taught myself. And you don't want to imitate somebody, because when they look at your picture, they might say, oh, that looks like such and such, you know, Jim Lee or whoever. And then they will never know who you are, because, you know, you drew, you know, a picture that's similar to Jim Lee or whoever. You should always want people to know you, so that one day somebody will recognize you and possibly, you know, give you that professional job, because you draw like you and they like your style. Because I did get an offer. I sent something in to somebody for a professional job, comic book. And the guy didn't like the way I drew my eyes. He said that it looks like Jim Lee. And I guess he didn't like Jim Lee, so he's like, he took the drawing and he changed a lot of the eyes the way he wanted them to. But then he ended up sending the original pages back, and I didn't get the job. So, you know, there. So, you know, whatever. So, but I wasn't, you know, that was one of the people that got me drawing. Jim Lee, John Byrne, somebody else, Hogarth. Hogarth were the first drawing books I had. Was it Byrne Hogarth or something like that? I know it was Hogarth. But yeah, he was the one that I kind of like emulated for actual detail to the body. And then once I learned it, I kind of stuck my own style to it. But I always did like the way Jim Lee drew. So for a while, I was drawing like him, and then I ended up changing his style to my style. So I'm looking at this, Right now I'm just adding a little bits and pieces. It's good. I could probably shrink that hand a little bit. As I said, he's leaning on a wall. He's got that lean, and that head is kind of tilted. He's looking this way. Make that neck a little smaller. Your shoulders should always round like this. Come around. And I can probably drop this because that hand is back, that elbow's going to be up, but not that much. So I'm going to bring all of this in. I'm seeing it now. And this is why I say you should always walk away from your stuff. And this is what I'm going to do now, is to walk away from it so I don't say, oh yes, looks good, because a lot of times I'll put stuff up on YouTube and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, how did you not see that? Okay, so I need this collarbone back. Not make this neck so prevalent. Just gonna come up here, because I was losing it for a second with the breast. The heart, I knew they were right, but it's just like the lines were going too far up, too far over. So as I said, I used the 2 triangle methods to establish the shape of the top torso and the bottom hip. Then I have my center line connecting to the points of the triangle. Then you throw your legs here, make sure your legs are not too long. You get that all established. You get your form established first, and then you come back and then you start chopping out stuff, making it shapely. That shoulder is still kind of bugging me. It looks good, but I'm seeing something and I can't put my finger on it. That's why you walk away. Maybe the breast is too high, since, I don't know, he's leaning. That breast is too high, because this should be lower. This is going to form her delt. So it's going to come up here and it's going to drop down more. Just think of the breast as water balloons. I know it's kind of bad to say, but if you take a water balloon and you hold it, it's going to lean from both sides. You know, the water's going to shift and it's going to lean. I can't think of the word, I guess. Lean, I guess. Slosh to one side. And that is actually much better. So I'm still going to walk away from it. I'm going to probably put some hair on her. And since this is on the Patreon, I don't have to dress her or worry about, email saying, oh, this is too much that, we can't sponsor you or whatever. Those guys have never sponsored me yet, so I'm not going to worry about that stuff. As long as I get paid for the views, I'm happy. So I'm going to walk away. It's 20 minutes minus the speed ups that I did. And walk away and then come back and kind of check and see what I have. All right, I am back, and I am not displeased with this at all. So I'm going to leave it like this. I was worried about the shoulder, but when you do the torso at the bottom part, let me grab another piece of paper, since this is not YouTube, and since if you paid for this, you'll get a good lesson. If you are doing the rib cage is like that. So when you do the rib cage and the collarbone, the bottom is going to be at this line. You have this line and this line. So this is where your delt is going to be. So if I'm bringing this around like that, the same way as this, it would hit the it would hit the end of the collarbone, where the collarbone hits this line. It would curve around. So this would be actually be the bottom of it, like that, point like that. I'm kind of rushing. So that's what threw me off. It did not hit. It was not hitting right. So now that it's hitting right, I am going to do a little dress up on this character. Since this is comics, I am going to do a little dress up. I don't know what. I had something in mind like 5 minutes ago, but it's gone now. And that's the crazy part about it. You know, if I don't like it, I can always erase it and put something else on her. And let's just do out of the imagination. I don't know, but if you create a character, you have to have a theme, or should I say one thing has to go into everything else. As in, if I put like pearls on her, then everything else needs to be something related to the pearls, even that shape. So we'll put these kind of fancy smancy boots on her, and then maybe a little something around the ankles. Since that leg is bent, that's going to be more of a curve. Don't know. Don't really know. So I'm just going to put something on. I'm just going to put something on. I have no idea where I'm going with it, so I'm just going to put something on her. As I say, I can always erase it. I won't cover up my basic lines. So I can always erase or ink in my regular basic lines. And restart. Okay, that is around that sleeve right here, and you have your folds here. This is the seam, the hem, seam, whatever. This is tight around her, so let me get just a little bit of. Nope, I'm sorry. That was below. It's from the collar around here and then there. You know what I can do? I can do a blue. Hopefully y'all can see this blue. Goes around here and up and there. Here's my seam for the arm. Take that down. So this is the only fabric, and the fabric goes around. And let's just say it comes up here. No. Let's just keep it even. Here's the collar, and then here, I'm going to bring this over the breast. And then stop it right here. You never know. I mean, when you do stuff like this, you might come up with something just really great. And then you might come up with something that's just really crappy. So let me get some light on the subject. And that could be like a piece of a jacket that goes around her. It's tight around her. And you sleeve right here. And let me put something else right here. Like got this part. Just put this part, which it could be like a metal band or something that hold it on her arm. Speaking of metal band, let's put a little around her wrist. Do I want the legs out or do I want the boots? Just like a thing. Since comic book character females, since like the mid 80s or something, they started drawing them with less and less clothes on. And I got to the point where I was like, I started dressing all my characters because it's like, how much naked can you make a character? So I'll put this, and maybe I'll put the piece there to give it a little more thickness to it. A little type of dress. Of course, I'm not going to color all of this in. And can you actually even see that? Let's cut the light out. I don't know. That's why I don't use blue too much, especially when doing this kind of thing. If I can get it on camera. A little dress. And so anything behind all that would be erased. So you wouldn't see her crotch or her thighs or anything like that. So, and then, because this leg is out, let's just put a little band around that leg. And yeah, so okay, we got the belt here. And remember, you wouldn't see anything behind here. It goes up and goes around. Got the side skirt. Just trying to make it a little darker. You already got the boots. You can see the boots there in red. So we got this. And this thing comes up here over the breast. So the breasts are not hanging out. I mean, they could be because this is my channel. But I'm not going to do that. It could be one solid piece something, or it could be like an open shirt. And since I didn't put the lines on there, this is gonna be an open shirt. Open shirt, one piece, tucks right down into the skirt, and that would be color. I could open up the belly, but I'm not going to. So that's what you have. So like I say, all that inner stuff would not be seen if I inked it. And I don't know, if I look at it for a couple of days, I might say, oh, I like that, I'm going to ink it red. And let's do the hair. One thing I did was downloaded a lot of hair designs, but I can't go to it because my image is right there on my screen. So I'm going to do something. Always have thick flowing hair when you do your characters. It shouldn't be flat on top of their head either, even though I like the thin kind of hair, like the Asian thin shiny black hair. That's always been a thing for me, shiny black hair. That does it for me. You know, if a woman comes in and the hair is just solid black and just shiny, you got my attention. Not going to do a face. So all that would be the hair behind. You won't see the head. I'm going to keep the hair, so I'm going to erase the head. And so there you go. Not too shabby. Now, if I want to do detail on the wall or whatever it is, a brick wall or stone gate, stone thing. And it could be like right here on the ground. Nope, because you'd have another piece, solid piece here. I don't know if you could hear that. I have a radio down. I got 38 Special playing in the background. And there could be another one here, you know, another one there. When I rush, I screw up. Who doesn't? Just trying to put some background, a little background. She could be a mage, sorceress, mage. She could be, I could put like a sword or something at her side. With the type of clothes she has on, especially because of the boots, it makes it look like, not old world, I don't know what you call it. Dungeons and Dragons kind of a thing, and then, you know, put some whatever back there. I don't know if this is flat or if she's up high, so you would see stuff down below, mountains or whatever, trees in the foreground. And that's another reason, that's another thing I do, is I go online and I look at a lot of backgrounds, keep like backgrounds like alleyways or, you know, whatever that you could use. So you should always do that. Get you a folder. I have several folders, a lot of folders, and it's like one that has background, cars, planes, whatever. And if I see something interesting, I will load it, download it, and keep that, because you never know, you might need that. Motorcycles, submarines, whatever. You know, if I'm going through Pinterest, which is, you know, a godsend. If you just see stuff, hey, download it, keep it, save it for when you start drawing. Makes it easier for you to draw stuff when you see it, when it's right there. And it could be something in the foreground. But I'm not going to do that because it's just not, that's not part of the drawing lesson. So I'm going to leave this at this. And I will see you in the next video on, I don't want to say Pinterest. This is not Pinterest. Where we are now. I can't think of the name. All right, so that's it. I'll see you guys next video.